tonight is an election night in Quincy. GOP voters went to the polls to choose a candidate for the 6th Ward alderman for the general election in a few months. And WGEM's Charity Bell is live in Quincy with details about who voters chose. Charity.
Mackenzie, voters chose Jake Reed as their Republican candidate to represent them here at City Hall as an alderman for the 6th Ward. Jake Reed beat out Natalie Thompson in today's consolidated primary election with 205 votes to 96, according to the Adams County Clerk's office.
I ended up running for alderman because I wanted to get involved locally with politics, especially after my daughter was born. So I jumped in, met a good group of people, the Republican Party and everybody, and they have guided me since then.
Reed says residents in his ward have expressed their concern with infrastructure they'd like to see addressed, like alleys, streets, and sidewalks. He says his next step is to hear from both Democrats and Republicans in his ward and what he can do to meet their need. Live in Quincy, Charity Bell, WGEM News.
All right, thank you, Charity. And Reed will face Democrat Patty Maples, who is currently sitting on council during the general election on April 4th. Maples was appointed to the position in May after Katie Aircamp resigned.